Thriller bark is floating on an iceberg. Hello. Today we will talk about icebergs and how they connect into a one-piece theory that concerns thriller bark. As you all know, ice has a lower density than water. Because of this, icebergs float on water, as you can see in the current picture. Rocks and earth, on the other hand, will sink into the ocean, as their density is too high to float. In Chapter 431, the Mayor of Water 7 Iceberg states, "I'm going to make this island float." Well, thriller bark is already what he wants Water 7 to become, a giant floating island. Icebergs can reach enormous sizes. The largest real-world one was 11,000 square kilometers large. They become like gigantic floating islands that can support millions of tons of additional weight. Here is an image of a real-life iceberg approximately the same size as a huge island. Camera. So let's talk about thriller bark. First and foremost, thriller bark is an artificial floating island that originated in West Blue. As Brooke stated in Chapter 443 in a conversation with Nami. Nami says, "A floating island. But the log pose isn't reacting to it." Brooke answers, "Well, of course not. This island came all the way here from West Blue." A giant freezer is located at thriller bark. As Frankie states in Chapter 480, nothing like the freezing power of a giant freezer to freeze a giant. He then uses his considerable engineering skills to turn the freezer on oars in record time. Then demonstrates the freezing power by freezing oars' feet, fixing him in place. So the connected dots of the theory are: the freezer of thriller bark is used to cool the water beneath thriller bark, to maintain a gigantic artificial iceberg to create buoyancy to keep the island afloat. Ironically, a major called Iceberg says he wants to create a gigantic artificial floating island in the previous post-Enies lobby arc. This is the end of the theory for now. Stay tuned for the next thriller bark origin theory. 1 of the arguments will be, since thriller bark was taken from West Blue, the gigantic freezer must have existed since the island was stolen from West Blue. As Moria took over thriller bark, he repurposed the freezer to cool oars, but is he the original owner? Please tell me if you have seen a similar theory already. I have found https://old.reddit.com